Now we're going to enter a very interesting part of our debate. We're going to have questions from the Columbia Global Centers all around the world. The first question comes from Mumbai, India.
Hi, I'm Sudakshana Malik from the Mumbai Global Center, and this is a question for the Mayor of Rio. I actually want to know, how do we get everybody together to meet all the urban challenges, since there are a number of civic organizations and bodies working for every aspect of housing, of health, of economic growth, and how do we get to collaborate all the agencies together to build up the vision for the future of cities?
Okay, that's for me. That's the greatest challenge. I mean, I was reading a report on Global newspaper this morning, and I mean, they're making a lot of reports this week about gentrification. Is that the right word to say? And there was this down in the report, there was the mayor saying something about what we've been doing with the city, especially in transportation with the BRTs. I love subways much better than BRTs, but they are kind of more expensive, just 15 times more expensive. And I don't know if people can wait that long to get good transportation. So we come to a resilient solution developed by the former mayor of Curitiba, Jaime Lerner, building 150 kilometers of BRTs. And there is this lady that represents Brazil in the UN. And at a certain moment, she says, there were no discussion with the people of the city about the project of BRTs. There were no discussions with the people of the city about the project of the port area. I mean, and I was, reading, looking at that, and I said, come on, what am I gonna do? I mean, I spend 20 hours a day working. Every weekend I go out in the streets talking to people. Then when I was coming here, I started getting some videos on my YouTube channel of meetings that I had with all of these places, with these favelas or neighborhoods, and started tweeting that, saying dialogue with, about BRT Transolímpica, dialogue about downtown Rio, dialogue about the port area renovation. And I got very anxious about that. I said, come on, I mean, I discuss a lot, I have lots of dialogue, and this lady is saying, I mean, she's connected more with the UN, and probably she's living somewhere else, but she's saying, we're not having dialogue. And why am I saying that? Because this question was good, and has a lot to do with what I was saying about Polish digitocracy. I mean, people want to participate. I mean, even if you give all your time discussing the projects, I mean, you're not going to speak to everyone. So what I think is the landscape, the environment of cities, they are capable of having this kind of discussions because they are real issues. I mean, when you talk about budget or when you talk about fiscal issues, when you talk about finance issues, even when you talk about sophisticated issues that usually go to national parliaments, it's not easy for common people to understand. But when you talk about city level issues, people can participate more. So I think the solution for that, that's why I'm calling Polish digitocracy. I mean, it's because humanly it's impossible for me to discuss more than what I do. So what we've been trying to do as an answer for her question is having tools in the internet, apps. Now we're using a collaborative tool called Rio Mais. I mean, we're asking people of the city of Rio what are the solutions they think, cheap solutions for real problems in the city of Rio. And the city hall has the compromise to get that. We got a bunch of geeks and we did a hackathon just like 2 months ago, finding solutions and apps for the problems of cities. In some of the projects that we're urbanizing favelas, we are preparing an app where people will vote. I mean, you have 3 public spaces. What do you prefer? Health thing, education thing, or both of them, and then a soccer pitch, or you would rather have a pool? I mean, these are the things, these are the greatest challenges of a mayor dealing with a city as big as Rio with 6 million people. And come on, it's not only 6 million because you have 12 million, more 6 million people that come to the city of Rio every day. They don't vote for you. I mean, they are not your constituency. They are not citizens of the city of Rio, but it was as if they were. And they are always complaining. They are always asking for things. So it's not an easy answer. I mean, this dialogue, how can we go deeper on that, go further on that? And that's why I said I think Polish digitocracy, that would be an answer for that. Mark, not even Mark has thought about that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, do you think this problem of having, civic society and civil society and also parts of government collaborate, is this something that is unusual or is it typical? Do you get this?
No, I think it's absolutely typical. I mean, I was interested in what you say about that there has not been a very big evolution in government models in the last few centuries. Probably this is true. Probably we need different ways of understanding how we share the city together. The protests are, of course, about the right to the city, and the demand for participation in the city, in its life and in its decision making is everywhere in the world. It's one of the inevitable consequences of the revolution, economic, social, urbanistic revolution over the last, let's say, 20, 30 years. So it's a feedback loop. We don't have very good feedback loops for cities. I think Rio has one of these advantages. The cities on the water, like Rio, New York, Mumbai, Istanbul. Istanbul, the word Istanbul, actually it's a Greek word. It just means in the city. So actually, Istanbul just means the city. So these cities on the water always represent our image of what a city is. I think that's an advantage in political terms because all of the citizens of Rio, maybe all the citizens of the world, think they know what Rio is. In other words, it has an image, and the image of a city is very, very important, like the image of your family or the image of your identity or of your school. And because there is a kind of strong image power in Rio, this can mean, of course, that citizens can be very unhappy because their life is not consistent with the image. But because they believe in the image and want to contribute to the image, they want to be politically engaged. So actually I think that cities that have high image power, which you could dismiss as say, superficial, marketing, glamour, and so on, actually image is very, very important. When you live in a city, you live in an image of what you think the city can offer. The city is not a truth, it's not a set of facts, it's not a fixed reality, it's a dream. It's a dream that things could be good, right? So what you have is a lot of people in the street saying that the reality and the dream is out of sync. And then the question is how to find mechanisms for negotiating so that more and more people feel that their image and their reality is more or less synchronized. And probably electronics is a big part of that, but the streets are also good. I mean, I think, who knows?
Because the Diagro is not, it's not possible anymore. I mean, you cannot go to square in the cities as they grew so much. I mean, how can you get everyone together? So that's why I say maybe the digital thing might help. The digital world might be the new Agora. Where you can. Yeah. I'm not saying not be personal,
but in image terms, it's good, right? Because if I protest in the streets, I'm creating an image of my desire for change. So basically, probably we thought 10 years ago that public space had lost this function of kind of civic protest, of civic representation. To our great surprise, in the last 5 years or so, very traditional public space became a vehicle for producing the image of unhappiness, which will be, of course, the engine for transformation.
Sure.
So it's a great feedback. So it's very interesting that the oldest technology we have, a public square, was very efficient. For example, in Egypt, creating probably we will remember very little of this century, 1,000 years from now, but we will remember Egypt. That's an amazing phenomenon in Egypt. But of course, using an old technology. Now, if you use the newer technologies of behavior.
So interesting, the discussion, but we have so many questions from around the world, and I think we can continue the discussion online afterwards.
We can give the same answer to every question.
It's just like you can't really answer. Thank you.